Welcome to this special edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. Here's your host, Nathan Hutchison.
Welcome to a special edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. We are here at the fabulous KYmedia.net studios, our new home. We are relaunching the Richmond Register Sports Show after a more than a year hiatus thanks to COVID-19 and all the associated problems with that. We could have kept the show going really and done some Skype and some Zoom and stuff like that, but we really didn't want to do that. We really liked having people in person and being able to sit and talk to people like this young lady. Tristyn Nowlin, Madison Central grad, University of Illinois grad, and now professional golfer.
Yes, sir.
So you went pro last month, 4 tournaments now. You've had 4 top 25 finishes.
Yes.
And two championships. So it's been a whirlwind, 4 different states. Just kind of what's it been like the first month here?
Yeah, I think, the transition, I guess I'm thankful that, COVID, hit at the time that it did because I was, preparing to make the professional transition. And quite honestly, in 2019, I really didn't feel ready. I'd had a lot of conversations with my coaches, and then, COVID kind of hit. In the moment, it definitely didn't feel like a blessing. But, looking back, I think I'm definitely thankful just to have that sort of, mental break, and then be able to go back. Now, I feel more than ready and, very thankful for my coaches for that. First tournament was Colorado. Definitely different. Went all by myself. Flew out there. Got a rental car. The whole the whole 9 yards.
Not even old enough to get a rental car.
Yeah. But oh my goodness, I was panicking. I was like, I think I had to be 25, so I had to pay the extra fee. But just kind of getting that experience out of the way, being all by myself out there. Played all right. I think I got tied for 22nd, I want to say. Then traveled up to the Michigan Women's Open. That place was beautiful. Had a lot of fun up there. And I'm thankful that at least the Michigan Open and the Illinois Open kind of felt like I was playing back in the Big Ten just because those final groupings, it was pretty much all Big Ten players.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But it's a different environment. Not having, my teammates around me all the time, kind of being able to finish out a hole and wave. But, I still have that close-knit team, whether it's, people here back home or my former teammates that we still FaceTime and stuff like that. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. The Michigan Open, you go into the final round down by, I think you were 3 shots off the lead, right?
I was 3 shots back, yes.
Yeah. So you charged up the leaderboard and won. And, your second professional tournament to get a victory, kind of what was that moment like? That
was amazing. At that point, I was actually doing live scoring on my phone. So I knew where everyone was at. And, in the past, I found myself kind of getting a little nervy and not really being able to close out the way that, I kind of envisioned things. But I think through the process of that, that break during COVID, I really worked on, the mental aspect of the game. And I was like, okay, well, I'm 3 back, but I can't really control how everybody else is playing. The only thing that I can control is kind of my process and, how committed I am to shots. And that was the key difference. And I think being able to do that at the Illinois Open, too, because in a bit of a different position, having just a 1-shot lead going into the final day, just staying present and being like, okay, I can control what I can control, and sometimes that's not even necessarily the result. So. Yeah.
And the Illinois Open must have been like homecoming. Obviously you spent 5 years there, and a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think one of your teammates was finished near the top as well.
Yeah.
Your Illinois teammates, so that must have been a very familiar setting, and obviously to win 2 weeks in a row was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely special. And that course, Mistwood Golf Club, I've played probably 4 tournaments there. I got runner-up in, I believe, 2 of them. So I did another interview there. They were like, "Well, it's good you finally get a win on this course. It kind of owed me one." But yeah, I had a former teammate, Bing, actually on the bag that week too. So just to have her there, and then Crystal, she's going into her senior year at Illinois. She actually played in front of me, so I was able to kind of go back to that routine of waving to my teammates. But that was just another great experience.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up on the bag, because that's where I was going to go, because you played in the Kentucky Open Monday and Tuesday, and your dad was caddying for you. And
yes.
Your mom, Beth, told me he hadn't done that in a while, so how did Dad do?
I think that was really fun, just being able to have him kind of share that experience with me. It's been quite some time. I want to say last time he caddied for me was, I believe it was the Women's Western in 2018. And I've definitely matured a lot since then. My golf game looks a little bit different. Sort of my approach to the game is definitely a lot different. So just kind of having him there and just him being able to kind of see my process and share that memory with me was pretty special.
Yeah, it was Monday and Tuesday, 2 very rainy days over in Danville, the Danville Country Club, and you hadn't played that course since high school, right? Or you played Sunday, you played a practice round
yeah,
Sunday.
We did play a practice round, so I actually went down with Maddie and Clarabeth, and we played together, and I thought that I had not played it before. I could not remember.
Was it a regional, right?
We did regionals there.
Yeah.
That was Maddie's 6th grade year, so I think that would have been my freshman year. That was actually the first time that I made it to the state tournament. No, the only hole I remembered on my course was number 9, the par 3.
Well, you finished as a runner-up, though, right? Didn't the girl from West Jessamine won that, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
But you finished as a runner-up.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, it was a really wet day, especially Monday. There was a huge rain delay. There was puddles everywhere. And you tied for 6th. Not bad. I mean, obviously not... you set the bar pretty high with a couple weeks before, but obviously what you're doing now is really trying to go around and get as much experience as you can, and the goal is to go to Q school and get an LPGA card.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just the transition that I've made is not one it's not too big of a jump. I've played in state opens before. It's just, who I'm playing as is different, versus amateur, being professional now. So there's, I guess for a lot of people, the motivator can be a little bit different, where it goes for kind of playing for the love of the game, and then you've got money all of a sudden coming into the circle. But I think for me, making sure that I'm still having fun, because I do love the game so much. And even, having 2 really good weeks and then having a week where it's like, well, I didn't really perform the way that I wanted to. I think that's why I enjoy the game so much. It's so humbling, and it's imperfect, and it's messy sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But this is all just a learning process, so I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and it's interesting to look at you are a professional now, so you are getting paid. Like $6,500 for the Michigan one. I guess about $5,000 for the Illinois one. But the one here in Kentucky, a 6th place finish, only got you a couple $100.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see how that all works, and I guess every one of them is different, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So just trying to kind of put that aspect to the side, because I know with this transition being so quick. Sometimes people can get lost in that, and I just want to keep playing the game. That's all I want to do. So for as long as I can, it's a game of all ages, so I'm going to enjoy it for as long as I can.
Yeah. And the tour of states continues. You'll be in Tennessee next week. Bringing along with you Mackenzie Neal, your former teammate who's at Morehead State now. She'll be playing with you. Then you're going to California. What's the rest of the schedule look
So
like?
I've got Tennessee Women's Open is next week. I think we might get Maddie to actually caddy for Mackenzie, so we might make it a little.
She's got a bad shoulder. She probably would play in it too. Yeah.
So we'll make that a little reunion trip, and then I actually head down for the Florida Women's Open right before Q school, and then I'll have a week break before I head out to Cali.
Okay. Now going back a little bit, you guys obviously won the 2015 state championship with Mackenzie and Maddie, like we said, and it was Paige Stamper and who's
Kaylee Boyer.
Kaylee Boyer, that's
yes.
right. And you were Miss Golf that year, and I know it kind of struck a lot of people odd, and you're still wearing the orange, you're rocking the Illinois gear, but you ended up in Illinois because I'm sure you probably had local offers, but I remember talking to you back then, and there was just something about you went up there and you fell in love with that place. So just kind of tell us about what it was about that coaching staff, those players, that place that just drew you to it.
Yeah, definitely at first, going north was not anywhere on my radar.
On golf especially.
I was like, I want to go south, I want to play year-round. But I got a couple questionnaires from Coach Sloan, kind of looked them over, and I was like, these are really good questions. I kind of like the ways that she's approaching this sort of recruiting process. So I took a visit up there. My first visit was to EKU. Of course, I love the campus being home, was appealing. But I took a visit up there, met Coach Sloan, and at the time, the assistant was Jenny Coluccio. She's head coach at Toledo now. But being able to witness their dynamic, was very appealing. Then also the campus atmosphere kind of reminded me of home. Of course, it's a very, very large campus, but it's spread out. The community is very close-knit too. And then also just being able to interact with teammates. Those are my former teammates now, but we still stay in communication. And then obviously the practice facility, just having that ability to hit really any shot that you want to at any time of the year. If it's pouring rain or snowing, we have that indoor facility and we have access to whatever resources we need. And I felt like at that point, with me wanting to turn professional, I felt that Illinois would give me the best chance.
Yeah, and you went up there and you were, I think, 5-time All-Big Ten selection, first team All-Selection once, and I mean, you won a couple of tournaments. Talk about we talked about this a couple years ago, but your first college tournament win, ironically enough, was in Kentucky. You played at the Cardinal Club up in Simpsonville, which ironically enough, you told me at the time you hate that course. You never had much success there at all, and you got there, and that was where your first college tournament victory was.
Yeah, and that was very special because at that point, my parents hadn't really seen me play collegiate golf, so they got to watch that, witness the whole thing. And yeah, I mean, up until that point, that course, the rough did me dirty a few times. But once again, just the process of, going and being coached by Coach Sloan really helped me, mental aspects. And I think that's really what made the difference at that course.
Yeah. Okay, so at what point in your college career did you really start to focus on nutrition and fitness? And it was like pre-COVID, right? About that time?
Yeah, it was around that time. So I majored in kinesiology, so I kind of understood, proper movement patterns and how to take care of my body. But I think at that point, I really didn't have the right resources or the mentality behind it. And pre-COVID, I started getting more into kind of training and eating right, but I still wasn't sort of, I guess, knowledgeable, as knowledgeable as I am about it now. I'm grateful that my, education background relates to it. But during COVID, I actually had some really bad anxiety. And so, the initial process of making this huge transformation actually came from that, which wasn't necessarily a good thing. So I reached out to resources at Illinois, and they helped me through that whole process. And then, sort of getting back into the gym, I found that, it helped directly with my confidence, on and off the course. And so I always make the metaphor, you want to fuel your car correctly, if you want it to run for a long time. And so I kind of view food as my fuel. Of course, I love cookies and I love chocolate. But just paying attention to what makes me feel good is something that, has developed a lot over the years.
And this may not be appropriate to ask a lady, but I mean, how much weight did you lose? I mean, it was a significant amount.
I ended up losing about 70 pounds. Yeah. But I've been able to gain some muscle back recently, so very, very grateful for that. But I feel better than I've ever felt. Yeah,
and I went to, when Gibson Bay reopened last summer, we were out there taking some pictures and stuff, and I look over on the putting green and I see someone with in Illinois gear on, and I immediately picked up the phone and I texted your mother and I said, "Is Tristyn in town?" And she said, "Yeah." I said,
"It's a different
Tristyn." She said, "Is she at Gibson Bay?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "You didn't recognize her, did you?" I said, "No, I didn't recognize her at all."
I look like a
you
completely
get that a lot?
different person.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Not so much now, but when I lost that 70 pounds, people did not recognize me. Looked like a totally different person, but I feel good now.
Yeah. Well, I talked to Randy Neely the other day, and he said that when you lost all that weight, you had to kind of readjust your swing and find your balance again, and it was, it was an adjustment process there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did have a completely different swing, and thank goodness, during that COVID, process, I was home, and I was able to work with Jason, my swing coach. But still, I mean, up until well into the fall, I was struggling to kind of, adjust. I wasn't really aware of where my body was and how to use my muscles properly. And that's another reasons why I got so into training and lifting weights. It's really helped me with that, with my balance, my stability. And I kind of, I lost a lot of distance off the tee, but I've thankfully gotten that back now. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, we were talking the other day when we were kind of setting all this up, and it's kind of amazing to, obviously, that group we talked about in 2015 that won the championship, and the kids that have come along since. You mentioned Clara Beth Ramsey and Elizabeth Eberly, and it's amazing how Central has become a real golf power. And of course, we don't want to make it sound like it wasn't before, because Carla Faye Hopper won a state championship back in the 90s and stuff. So there were good players before. We don't want to say there weren't, but just how this program is developed, and the boys program as well. But it's just a powerhouse right now, and it's amazing the kids that have come through here. And like I said, four of the state championship, 4 of you signed to go to college.
Yeah.
So it just seems like it's just building and growing from there.
Yeah, and I think this whole Richmond area. I mean, Lexington's always been like a big area for golf, but I feel like Richmond has really, really grown over these past few years. It seems like every time I come back home, it's like I see a new junior golfer, or I see 10 more people at the junior clinic or something like that. So I think just the publicity that it's gotten, and the awareness and the growth of the game, like over the past few years, has been awesome to see.
Yeah, like you played with Clara Beth Ramsey Monday and Tuesday, and I mean, that young lady's impressive. She hits the ball harder than most boys do. I
She
mean,
hits it like a guy.
Yeah.
She hits it a mile.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Elizabeth Eberly, obviously, Jason's kid out there at Gibson Bay. She's an amazing golfer, runner-up state tournament last year. So
Yep.
it's amazing who's coming through here. So.
Yep, they got a very bright future.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of after Tennessee and California, do you have anything else planned out from there, or kind of?
So after first stage of Q School, there's actually a gap until October, stage 2. I might try to see if there's any maybe mini tour events down south or out west. But for that time frame, I think I might, take a small break and see if there's any changes mentally or physically that we need to do. Work closely with Jason. I might take a couple trips up to Chicago to see some old teammates, but nothing set planned for now.
Okay. Congratulations on all your success. We'll be watching you. I mean, it's amazing to think we have a professional golfer here in Richmond. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people realize that. And you're going out there and you're getting checks. I mean, you're getting paid to do this, which I mean, everybody out there, weekend hack golfer would love to get paid to play golf. So it's very amazing. So congratulations and thanks for coming in for this special edition. And we are going to be relaunching the Richmond Register Sports Show full time at the beginning of August. We'll put some more information about that out there very soon, but we do plan on having a new episode every Sunday night airing, and it will just be me this time. No Ricky Barker. She's become our news editor, so it'll just be, you'll be stuck with just me and some special guests. So, but we appreciate you watching and appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know you're off to the next stop. Like this is a tour of states, So, but it's got to be fun though,
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, taking it all in.
So, all right. Well, we appreciate you guys watching. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks for watching this special edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. For more information about all things sports in Madison County, log on to richmondregister.com or on Twitter. And like us, Register Sports on Facebook.